It's 102 degrees outside. Let's work on the heater.
All right, so I got a request from one of my YouTube subscribers to make a video on the cables, the control cables for this heater control unit. So we're gonna go through that real quick and replace my cables, because that's all the farther that'll move. This actually does actuate the coolant shut-off valve for the heater core under the hood, but this cable's a homemade cable. In fact, all these cables were actually I made these about 10 years ago out of just the Ace Hardware lawnmower throttle cable. So there's one that controls the blend of heat to defrost and off. Then there's another one that controls the temperature from warm to cold, which basically that is just shutting off the heater hose line. And then there's a third one that actually connects here that is part of your fresh air system, if I remember right. I haven't had this out in quite a while. So we'll go ahead and get this out and get started replacing those cables. This thing's a pain. The nuts that hold it on are back behind it. You've got to get up in there, and you end up with fingers like this trying to get them all out. So what I'll probably do is pull the glove box liner to get to the one on the right, and then there's just nothing you can take out to get to this one. So yeah, let's go ahead and get that out and get going from there. All right, so I forgot how super awesome fun this was to get these two nuts off the back. But this is now loose and should just pull out of there. Nope, there we go. So, what am I forgetting? There we go. So this is all the farther mine's going to come out, because I have, when I did this, I didn't know any better. There really wasn't a lot of diagrams. But as you can see, one of these cables, I can't hold the light and the phone. This cable right here, that one right there, is extremely short, and so it's not going to let me pull this out all the way. So I may end up having to disconnect those two real quick. The lines back in the back of the heater box. And I'm pretty sure at this point we can still get all these off without taking the heater box out. At least that's what we're trying to do. To see if it's possible to get that back there unhooked and then the new cables installed. So we're going to keep down that path until we either get it or can't go any further. So let me put this down and get some tools and get this a little more apart. All right, so I got it out. I did manage to get this cable off. And this is the reason that this system didn't work. This cable is way too short. I mean, compared to the actual cable that goes on there, you know, you're looking at a cable that's probably 2 foot in length. But so this is how this works for anybody that doesn't know. So this lever controls your switch that shuts off the valve under the hood that's in line in the heater hose. Okay, so that's basically is going to give you no heat, and then sliding that over will pull that valve open, and that's what will allow water to flow through the heater core. The second one, so that's off, heat, and defrost, right? So off will close the blend door completely. And then so this will move so far, and that will give you your heat, which blows up by your feet. Then it will transfer over to the second side, the other side, and pull the blend door cable that gives you, that will bring it up to defrost. So that's defrost. Now you'll still get heat from the floor, right? But this will just blend it in to give some to the floor and some to the defroster and vents in the dash.
And then back to off will close, I believe closes the blend door altogether. So you shut off the coolant flow to the heater core, and you also close the blend doors. One of the things I noticed is that these cables, like I said, they're all homemade. They're made out of cable from like Ace Hardware, and they're universal lawnmower throttle cables. So these are not the right cables. Obviously, you can see this is all pretty kind of put together. But this will, one of the things I noticed is even with the heater in the off position, I was still getting some warm heat out of the floorboard. I'm hoping to, or out of the heater vents, I'm hoping to remedy all that by replacing all these cables. Also, it's not a bad idea to put a little bit of lubrication on these. I don't have any on mine, but if you, while you have it apart, a little bit of lubrication on this will just smooth the whole system out and make it function a lot better. About the only thing left on this after that, this is your fan switch for your fan speeds, and then this is your light bulb for the underdash light, or the to light up the face of the heater control system, or the heater control panel. So I'm going to get these cables sorted out and reattached, and we'll see if we can get this reinstalled.
Okay, so I tried to film putting these cables in back there, but there's just no chance that I was going to get any decent camera angles and use both hands and get that done. So obviously it can be done without taking the heater box out. Taking the heater box out is going to make your life easier. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, unless you like want, you know, the most twisted up fingers ever, it's not super easy to do without taking the heater box out. You know, I mean, you can, they're easy to reach with, you know, extensions and everything, but trying to loop that cable over that hidden pin back there and hold all that in while you're getting the clamp and screw in is pretty difficult, I'll be honest. And these cables are constantly trying to flex away and not be where you need them to be. So anyway, so now that's all done, there is some adjustment I still need to make to this plate, and you can make the adjustments on the bottom of it. And I think that's the way they want you to adjust them. If I remember reading right in an old manual, is you're supposed to lay underneath the dash to make the cable adjustments. I'm pretty close. So now you can see, so in this position, you know, it's set on defrost, right? So up in here, I'll go ahead and actuate it real quick. So it's set on defrost now, which closes this flapper, and that directs the heat up through these top vents, which would blow up to your defrost vent. And then when you move it back to heat, it will fold that up and close that flapper so that the air will come out and blow out of the two heat ducts, which are here and here, and then over here on the passenger side. So it blows out all three spots. And I'm not positive that I'm supposed to have a hole here. This may be somebody else's work previous to me. And then, so that's on your heat setting, as you can see. And then when you turn it the rest of the way off, if I can get this baffle door on, there we go. So when you turn it the rest of the way off, it will close, oh, I'm scratching it will close that door in the back. A little bit. So you can see it closes that door in the back. So if your feet are constantly hot while you're driving your truck down the road, one of two things: your water valve under the hood and the heater hose line might not be shutting off completely, or that door down there might not be closing completely, because that's what blocks the flow of air into the cab from the heater. And so once you move that back off, it'll, you know, open that door up, and that's what allows the air to come through the fresh air vent system. So from there on out, I think, you know, that's pretty much the end of what I got to offer in this video. So if you guys, you know, are having trouble with your heater, it's probably most likely the cables. They rust up and all kinds of things. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, you know, post them in the comments. Thanks for watching.